3, 2, 1. All right, so we are back with episode. We do this every week, 12 of the Talk Louder podcast. It's me, Jonathan, followed by Thomas.
Hello.
And Jacob.
Hello.
And it's been a week.
It's been a while.
So I'm back from Japan. We didn't record the Sunday I got back from Japan because I had jet lag and slept through the entire day of Sunday because my time zones were flipped. And I'm still slowly recovering from that, but I guess we'll talk more about Japan later. Last week also was super busy for me because that was pretty much the end of my schooling despite this just now being dead week. But how busy are you guys, Tom? I know you mentioned right before this that you were super busy.
I'm incredibly busy. I'm coming up on the end of all the work I have to do for the semester. So by the end of Monday, I will be completely done with all work I have to do other than just studying for exams.
Jacob, what about you?
I'm dying.
No.
School's kicking my butt.
Are you really that busy?
Yeah, honestly, I've had to give up some of my hobbies even. I don't go to the gym anymore and stuff because it's just I would find myself because I procrastinate really badly. So I just needed that time at night because I'd work at 10, so I would need that time at night to do homework because I would constantly sacrifice homework for the gym. So I've just had to take away some stuff from my social life and stuff in order to get my homework done. It's really been bad, honestly. My grades are not feeling great. So
You'll survive.
I'm
You'll
hoping
make
so.
it through just
I can
fine.
get back to the
I believe in
gym
you.
once the school year's over. I'm excited.
But yeah, for everyone else who's out there listening, if you're going through your dead week or finals week or what have you, best of luck. Study hard. You're almost there. We get Christmas break soon.
Christmas.
So I guess we can talk a little bit about Japan.
Sure.
I went to Japan. It was a lot of fun. All right, moving on.
No.
That was
So-
indeed a little bit.
How was the Pokemon thing?
Excuse me. The Pokemon thing was awesome. Sorry, I'm actually eating Japanese candy right now. Pokemon thing was awesome. The Pokemon thing refers to I got to go to the. There was one day where it was just me and my little brother, and I took us to the Pokemon Center in Osaka, and we also had reservations to eat at the Pokemon Cafe, where all our food was really themed, and it's on my Instagram. I had my high dollar camera that I took pictures of it all with. It was a super neat experience. It's a very expensive meal. I think we spent somewhere around $98 on that meal.
Oof.
Oh.
And that was just for the food, not for the reservations. My mom bought the reservations.
Jeez.
But we had,
Was it good?
our main entrees, specialty drinks, fizzy drinks, nothing alcoholic because it's Pokemon Cafe. It's very kidly friendly. And my little brother's 10. He had some Ditto tea that had jelly in it, and I had an Articuno fizzy drink that had boba in it. And we got dessert, and then I got a latte with a little Charizard stamp on it, so that was pretty cool. And then Pikachu came out and danced, and it was a fun time. It was a little
The
it was a little strange.
Pikachu?
It was him.
That's funny.
One of my favorite Snapchats I posted from that no one liked was when he came out and it was dancing. I put it and it was the dad? Is that you?
That's
But
funny.
I was just sitting there with because if you go and you can prove that it's your birth month, so I had to show them my Kentucky driver's license. I'm sure they don't see many of those. They give you a birthday card that they sign to you, and you get a birthday Pokemon in the newest games, and you get a birthday crown and 5% off your purchase that day. So, but if you wear the birthday crown, people there have to, the workers will come up and say, Otanjobi omedetou, which is happy birthday. Or if they think that I'm American, they'll just say happy birthday. So that was fun because I would just do laps around the store because we were there for 5 hours and
How
just
vain.
making people say happy birthday to me. It was a power trip.
We all do
You
the
put
same.
on the crown and go mad.
Heavy is the head that wears the Pokemon birthday crown.
That's funny.
Pick up your head, king. Your
Chin
Pokemon
up,
birthday
king. Your
crown.
Pokemon crown is falling.
Falling. I was torn between which two of those to use. I used the first one for my post. But But it was a lot of fun. I took some Japanese in college. It's actually how Jacob and I know each other.
Yeah.
I'm taking it right now.
Yeah, but not with anyone that we know.
It's true.
You took it at the not cool time. I'm kidding. So I got to talk to my family in Japanese for the first time. So that was really, really cool. I had to hold like some basic conversations.
Yeah.
They were really blown away, which they had not seen me in 5 years. So I've grown quite a bit, I suppose. My entire college life has been away from them. So I was a lot taller, and I was speaking Japanese, so they didn't really recognize who I was. But it was cool.
Crazy.
And then, yeah, came back. I wasn't there very long. Got super jet lagged. Came back, spent a lot of money on candy and souvenirs. And, yeah, it was a blast. I could talk about, like, every little detail of it, but that would dominate the podcast, and that's not that fun, I imagine.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I'm curious, besides, like, the cafe, the Pokemon cafe, what else you went and saw? Like, you go see anything, like, historic in nature?
We didn't do anything, like, super historic like we normally do because they were taking my stepdad's family to go see that stuff. And then while they were doing that, I was kind of, like I went to the Pokemon Center the day they went to this temple in Nara. And then one of the things we did was we went to Osaka Castle. That was pretty cool. I've done, like, historic stuff in the past. Like, I went to Hiroshima, and that was, like, a really heavy experience. It was really, like,
Yeah.
I'm really glad I got to go, but, like, cool is not the word you use for
No, dude, it was
for
awesome.
like one of like the worst
Yeah, for like a nuclear
acts of
bomb
destruction.
detonation.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a big piece of history that I got to see and witness, and that was, I mean, completely like, just like a really heavy and I want to say that it was a good experience, but you can't really use positive words to describe it. Like, I'm not like, it was awesome, because it wasn't awesome, but it was like,
Well,
it's perspective changing.
You can still
It
say
was-
awesome, though, because awesome
Yeah.
is just like, it puts you
Yeah.
in awe, you know?
yeah,
Of, like-
The
it just kind
dictionary
of
definition.
feels wrong.
Yeah, no, it's not like
That makes
rad, it's like,
No,
It's just
which
a
it
lot.
was. I'm very glad that I got to go. That's basically the perfect way to sum it up. Was that it was a really unique experience. That was several times ago. I mean, I've climbed Mount Fuji in the past. I've been to Tokyo Tower. I've been to Skytree. I've been to more temples and shrines than I could count. But yeah, this time we didn't really do too much outside of Osaka Castle as far as like historic things, which is kind of upsetting. I do like the shrines, and I used to go a lot when I was little, and I kind of get to see it through my little brother's perspective now. Is that when I would go, I didn't really have a good grasp on how lucky I am to get to go, or appreciate some of like the culture and the history.
Yeah.
Because when you're 10 years old in Japan, all you want to do is play video games and look at Pokemon stuff. Like,
yeah.
and like I tried to get Isaac to like be better than me and be like, hey, you know, check this out, this is cool, or like reiterate to him like, hey, how many of your classmates get to go to Japan? Which is the same stuff my stepdad would say to me when I would go when I was Isaac's age. So I understand it's falling on deaf ears, but in a couple years he'll be like me, where like I had that one trip where I went where my perspective was really changed.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I went out to the. My dad has a farm, and I went out with my 4-year-old brother, and I was like talking to him out there, and like I was like trying to talk to him about like stuff that I thought was like interesting, but he's just he's like 4, so.
Yeah, but it is interesting to see like the things that do like have impact on him. Like we spent the day at the Pokemon Center. There's this arcade machine, which Japan is famous for having, you know, 1 million arcade machines and stuff. And they keep them like up to date. It's like the arcades died in the States, but they're still like thriving in Japan, and they're called game centers. There was this Pokemon game that we were playing, and they would like a lot of the arcade games there are common for you play them, and then at the end of it, it will print you off a character or something from your game experience that you can then use later when you play the game. So like Pokemon, say I'm playing, you play and say I catch a Pikachu. I pay an extra $1 and it prints me off a Pikachu chip, that Pikachu that I got in the game. And then the next time I play that arcade machine, I put my Pikachu chip in the reader, and then it will use that Pikachu. So you play to collect, like, I got a Kyogre and he got a Xerneas. So those were the legendaries. This game's completely in Japanese, but they're pretty simple, so I figured them out pretty quickly and then teach him. When we were at the Pokemon Center, because we had to kill the entire day there,
Mhm.
we were playing in the arcade machines, yada yada yada, and there were some Japanese kids and their parents coming around, and there's about 4 of these machines. And later on, there was this woman who was Asian and had a child who's probably about Isaac's age, so like 10 or 11. Was also Asian, but was like struggling to talk to one of the workers. And I kind of took like 2 steps away from Isaac, because Isaac and I were kind of like trading out who was playing on what machine, so we weren't hogging half of the machines.
Yeah.
And it was Isaac's turn, so I like kind of took a step back to listen in, because I could see that there was a struggle with communication, and I could hear she was speaking English, and the worker there did not understand her. So I walked over and was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, do you need help with anything? I speak English, and I know a little bit of Japanese." And she was like, "Oh, my son wants to play the game, but like, is there an English setting or like anything like that?" And I'm like, "No, it's all in Japanese, but it's pretty easy to understand. I can teach him if like you would like." And she was like, "Oh, that'd be awesome." So like he came over and got the arcade machine next to Isaac, and I taught him how to play, and Isaac lent him a couple of the middle tier Pokemon that we had caught.
The
He wasn't
B
gonna give
tier
him the
gems.
legendaries. Yeah. Those like our Walrein and our Charmeleon and our stuff like that.
Walrein's a good
'Cause if it-
Pokemon though.
In that one, it wasn't. It was like a
Oh.
3-star, 4-star Walrein.
That's really
Anywho, and then later on, I kind of was done spending money on it. I'd spent like $20 or whatever, and I'd gotten the legendary, and Isaac was working on getting the legendary, and it was pretty cool. But I kind of like took a step back from it and just let Isaac enjoy himself and play. And then there were other kids, and Isaac was interacting with these kids who were probably like roughly his age, but they spoke nothing but Japanese, and they would like communicate through the game, and then like using like a few words that they share, like names of Pokemon and stuff like that. And Isaac would like, if a kid was what I guess he learned from example. Early on, he was fighting a legendary Pokemon, and he was about to lose, and there was this dad and his son next to us playing, and the dad saw that Isaac had just lost his Pokemon, and he grabbed a legendary card. I don't remember which one it was, and he came over and he put it in Isaac's machine for him, and he said, "Here, use this." And like as well, he tried to. He knew a little bit of English, but not a lot. So he like scanned it in for Isaac, and then took it back. But then Isaac had that legendary Pokemon to fight with, and then he won the game, or he beat it because he had the legendary. So Isaac learned from that, and then later, like hours and hours later in the day, there was another kid who like the same scenario happened, and then Isaac walked over with the legendary and scanned it in for him to help him out. And it was just a cool experience watching him interact and all that stuff. Because I'd actually done that before a long time ago when I would go to Japan and go to the game centers by myself and play. But that was one of the cooler things that came out of going to the Pokemon Center.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, stuff like that is, I think, like one of the I'm saying like a lot. That's one of the big reasons that video games are really cool, is they sort of like transcend. They can sometimes transcend like a language barrier.
Sure.
Make it like it's one of those things like math or art where no matter the words you use to describe it, the way you interact with it is what defines.
Well, it's like, in its way, it has its own language.
Yeah.
Like, math can be, numbers are universal across whatever. We may not speak the same language, but we both understand math. Or we may not speak the same language, but we can both appreciate beauty in art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And not to go as deep with the video games, but it's funny you brought that up. I was spending time with some of my family just for like a brief period of time, and 2 of my like younger cousins were there, and they had their Switches, and they were playing Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I ran out to the car, and Isaac and I grabbed our Switches, and we did a couple raid battles. And these are little kids, so they don't know any English hardly. But we were just sitting there, and like there was no struggle whatsoever in communicating to like play the game, and we were like raiding together and having a good time, and I helped them out, and I knew a little bit of Japanese to tell them that I would trade them some of the starter Pokemon, because I had eggs of all the starters.
Yeah.
So I gave them the starters that I didn't have, and like they were just like You know, it's that moment when you were like little playing a video game and you don't really have a full grasp of the video game, but someone who's older than you plays, like our age, and we know everything about Pokemon at this point, and they like show you the ropes or they have a high level Pokemon or something, and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like I got to be that guy for them, and we don't speak the same language whatsoever, like hardly. Like it was really hard to talk outside of that, but when we were playing Pokemon, like it was just us sitting around chilling and playing Pokemon, like just completely normal, and it was super cool. And I think it helped create a bond with them that I would have not been able to have made unless I had a lot more understanding of Japanese.
Yeah.
But I could supplement it with a common interest, and that was really cool. Also, their dad didn't play Pokemon, whatever, but he played Pokemon. He didn't play Pokemon Sword and Shield. He played Pokemon Go, and he has like 4 or 5 copies of shiny versions of every single legendary that's been released to Pokemon Go. It's ridiculous. He was like showing it off to me. He's like, "Do you play Pokemon Go?" And I'm like, "Not really." And he was showing me all this stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, you play a lot of Pokemon Go."
Oh, Peter.
No one listening to the podcast is going to get that, Tom.
I know, but I could not think of
It
it.
made me laugh, so I mean, it worked.
Well, anyways, I mean, that was my Thanksgiving. I had a great time. 9 out of 10. The only downside was my jet lag coming back was way worse than it was going there. In fact, I'm still kind of having issues
And now you're a
sleeping at
sleepy
night.
boy.
Now, right now, I'm fine, but
I'm
because I guess
tired.
technically it's
I've been-
it's
I'm also
4:30 p.m. now. In Japan time, it's 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m.
That's crazy.
I had 2 hours, then flip the time zone or flip to AM PM.
Mhm.
But so how was your guys' Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was pretty good. You know, I didn't, do anything exciting. I just went to my dad's house and we ate and sat around, and I played Risk with my family. And
I've never played Risk.
so okay,
that's
so
cool.
Risk is kind of a bad game.
What?
Oh,
So it's
Uh-oh.
basically, can your 2 dice rolls beat your opponent's 3 dice rolls?
That's
Yes
right,
or no? It's really not great, like design wise, because Risk is basically a lot of like systems of information or systems of uncertainty that you don't have control over. So it's like, when do you draw the ceasefire card out of the deck? When does the dice roll in your favor? And that's what I wanted to talk about by saying I was playing Risk. It's just me veering the conversation away from Thanksgiving because I didn't want to talk about how I had to talk about Pokemon at the table and sound like a child. But so Risk is a game where, you win by either controlling the most territories when the ceasefire card is drawn, or you control 25 territories at any given point in the game. So there are something like 45 territories on the board, I think. And you can have any number of units on the board at a time, but you get a certain number of them to put into territories that you already control at the start of your turn, and then you can invade territories that you don't control and try and gain control of them. So my whole strategy was that I was just going to keep like 1 guy in each zone, which is the minimum you can have. So if I ever got attacked, I was just going to get steamrolled. But my whole strategy was, maybe I just won't get steamrolled, and by the time the ceasefire card is drawn, I'll have been able to put 1 guy in so many spots that I just win the game.
So you were banking on expanding faster than you could get destroyed.
Yes. And, that's exactly how the game panned out. I lost like 80% of all of the battles that I took, and I won the game. And that's why I don't like Risk, is because, 1, the battles are completely luck-based. Like, it's literally just
Yeah, that's
complete
true, yeah.
chance. And 2, if you just are lucky enough, it doesn't matter if you won the battles or lost them, you can still just win.
I don't really know though, because I played Risk and there usually is an aspect of strategy to it that really can secure your win. But that's just, I don't know, if we're necessarily playing the same rules though. So.
I have no dog in this fight. My only comment would be, I think that what you're saying, if it's true, is valid. However, Risk is like a very classic game. And I think that
I'm
there
not...
may be Jacob may have something to it. It's like your method may have worked against like playing your family for Thanksgiving, but I'm sure someone who plays Risk a bit and knows strategy to it probably could destroy like a
Well,
basic RNG based tactic like that. But I don't know. I don't play the game. This is just my 2 cents
I
as someone
don't really
looking at
know.
it.
I don't really know if they played the same rules, so I can't really talk about whether or not.
We played with the rules that are read out of the manual because
That's
nobody knew how to
possible, but
play, so we
I played.
read the manual and played with those
The
rules.
thing is that I played like the online version that's like newer and updated. I don't necessarily know if it's the same rules now. You know what I mean? I don't know if the game's changed or anything.
Yeah, we literally like opened the box, pulled out the manual, like started setting up, and then we started playing the game. So that's the rule set we played with. I'm not sure.
There
If
is RNG. You are right, but to a degree, there is like an aspect of strategy that can be used. That's like really
So the aspect of strategy is, the unit placement. But even if you have if you're attacking a
But then also
territory,
controlling continents, right?
yeah. But what I'm saying is that if you attack a territory, owned by 5 or 6 or even 7 of your opponent's guys, you can still win just with one guy.
That's true, but I've never ever actually seen that happen.
Because your opponent doesn't get to roll with all of their dice against you. So the working model is that you get 1 dice for each guy up to a maximum, depending on if you're attacking or defending.
Yeah.
And if you're attacking, you get to roll a maximum of 3 dice at a time if you're attacking with 3 or more guys. And if you're defending, you get to roll a maximum of 2 dice, depending on if you're blocking with 2 or more guys. So the game's system favors being on the attack, which is why my strategy was not to defend anywhere. My strategy was literally, I'm just going to throw my guys as fast as I can at whoever's standing next to me and control as many territories as I possibly can, controlling continents or not. I didn't control a single continent over the course of the game.
But if you control continents, you get more units.
Yes, you get more units at the start of the game, but you also just get more units by controlling
But
more territory.
you don't necessarily win from winning the dice rolls, though. You're supposed to.
And anytime you take a territory, at the end of the turn, you get to draw a card out of the territories deck, which puts you closer to the ceasefire card, which was my win condition. And as a reward for drawing cards, you can cash it in for more units at the start of your turn, which scales more heavily with the more cards you have. So, redeeming, 2 or 3 cards is going to get you, 4 or 5 extra guys.
Yeah.
But redeeming, 7 or 8 cards is going to get you, 19 guys. And that's really big. So my whole strategy was take at least 1 territory every turn, try to take more. If you can't, you're going to take a card, and you're going to wait, and at the turn that as soon as you think you're getting close to that ceasefire card, you just redeem all your cards, get a big old death ball, and take as many places as you can.
I'd have to reread the rules, not gonna lie right now.
So...
Never played the game, so I don't know, but let's not talk about Risk first.
Yeah. Long story short,
But it
I don't
seems
like
interesting.
rolling dice to win the game.
Yeah. I think, so one of my favorite series, because, as far as YouTube goes, which YouTube is, my primary source of entertainment, watching stuff while I'm eating dinner or whatever. I don't watch Netflix. I've been watching Disney Plus for The Mandalorian, but that's about it. I primarily watch YouTube, and I'm on a lull where some of the YouTubers that I've liked over the years are starting to not do it for me anymore. But I kind of can consistently keep coming back to Funhouse, who've probably been outside of the Yogscast, probably the most watched YouTubers I've ever, for me. And one of their series I really love is called Bored as Hell, where they just play board games, but high production level, recording different angles and all this stuff. And it's a really good thing to watch if you like board games. And watching that, between watching that and then when we went to Gen Con this summer, I have a newfound love of board games. I just really am infatuated with board games. And want to play more, but board games are expensive.
Yeah, they're pretty pricey. I said that as somebody, who worked in a board game store.
Who sells board games. But I have 3 that I've never played. I have Delve, I think, that I got for $5. That's some yard sale type thing, brand new and had never been opened. I've got Boss Monster that I've never gotten people to play. I'd like to play, but
I'm sorry.
why are you apologizing?
Come over. We'll play right now.
You gotta watch Nancy and Drew.
No.
Should I come over and watch Nancy and Drew?
Yeah, come over.
So,
What if Candy got mad?
Um, There's two things. One leads into the other. I have to thank these guys, more so my roommates, but everybody who came out yesterday, because my roommates threw me a surprise party yesterday
They did.
because my birthday was while I was in Japan. So it was really sweet, and I loved it a lot, and I had a really good time.
I was in charge of inviting people from like card club side of things,
Yeah.
and I did kind of a
Hunter
bad
said they
job.
started planning on Monday, and I just remember that when we threw his 2 years ago, that like the really big one.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that was like I think I lost years off my life planning that,
I was just stressed, so like I was just
getting people to
waiting invite
commit and all
people.
that. It was, oh boy, so I'm really it means a lot to me.
And
that they
Tom, do
would
I have your
do
Snapchat?
that.
You do not.
Yeah, I don't think so because I had to ask Greg to invite
And now
you.
publicly on the podcast, my Snapchat is. I'm not gonna
I
do
was
that.
gonna say I wouldn't even be able to type it in time.
Oh no, all 20 people are gonna add you on Snapchat.
But yeah,
But it stems from, it's my birthday. I have birthday money. I really want to buy. I'm actually looking at the Steam page of it right now. I really want to buy Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
damn, the autumn sale's over and I didn't get a single thing.
I didn't look at any of the sales for like Cyber Monday or Black Friday.
I never
I
do.
know there were any
I just
good
don't buy
deals.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I own
Sometimes it's
everything
just
I
like
really
too
want.
good. But I don't know if I want to buy this or not.
The only thing I've like been wanting to do recently is A, finish all my schoolwork, and then B, I really want to play more Final Fantasy right now.
Do you like space themed games?
I mean, it depends on the game, really.
Like if I were to pitch you a game that was, I'm gonna pitch Impulsar, Jacob,
That's what
so
I
you
figured.
know what I'm
That's
talking
when it
about.
said space, I was like, Pulsar.
If I was gonna pitch you a game that was like if it was like Star Trek, but it's not a Star Trek game.
What's this game called? Here,
Pulsar.
we'll go look it up on the Steam store right now. I'm sorry, I missed the name. One
It's
more
a
time.
weird game.
Jonathan, put a picture of Pulsar up.
Pulsar.
Yeah, okay.
Pulsar Lost Colony.
Yep, that's it.
Team up to operate an
So-
advanced starship and explore a randomized galaxy falling into chaos. Each player, up to 5, takes on a unique role and must work together in order to find the lost colony.
Oh, is that what we're supposed to be doing?
I think technically, but it's not like it really matters.
We never make it past like 4 missions in before we all die.
This game looks
So
like it
it's-
could be in VR.
It's
Oh, the game's good. So it's nice how it's like a new game, but the graphics are not very good.
But it's kind of charming in that way because the graphics aren't great, and that's fine. But the gameplay is actually really good, and it's really fun to play with friends.
It's like, did you ever play Guns of Icarus?
Nope,
Okay.
but I know what that game is.
It's
Okay.
like Guns of
So it's
Icarus,
like
but-
that in that how everybody has a role to be doing. Well, okay. Did you ever play Faster Than Light?
No, but again, I know what that game is.
I think he's getting the point.
Okay, so it's like if you played Faster Than Light, but like everybody was in first person, actually playing the roles of your people in Faster Than Light. Like you actually have to be like the weapon specialist has to man the gun and shoot enemy ships.
Yeah, it's
The pilot has to
first-person
be
FTL.
evading. Yeah, it's the
It's-
the engineer has to be managing your power levels. The scientist is like actively hacking and protecting from being hacked. And the captain is
Being a captain.
probably the most useless of all of them, I think. The captain most of the time is just yelling orders and then manning the slightly weaker cannon,
Yeah,
in my experiences with the game.
especially if Logan is the captain.
But it's surprisingly like it's that Guns of Icarus, like you're all working together on the ship, making it work. That feels good. You have your own like unique role that you're doing that feels fun. The game's like completely open world. There's like 3 factions.
There's a
There's,
whole
like,
galaxy.
Yeah, there's like the good guys, the not so good guys that are more corporate, and then there are the guys who literally are just space biscuit deliveries. You're just space's delivery boys,
Yep.
if you choose that faction.
They deliver biscuits.
But you could be like, you could work for like the government and hunt down the bad guys. You could be the bad guys
also,
and
like, a
smuggle stuff,
flood-like
destroy
enemy.
ships. Yeah, there's like this weird space disease flood thing that's taking over the galaxy.
Yeah, pretty cool. There's also like a giant space kraken that if you like do a random warp, because sometimes you can random warp to like escape enemy like attacks, like if you're like desperate. And if you're a random warp, sometimes you get warped to a space kraken that kills you.
Mm-hmm. Space Cthulhu. We fought him once.
Space
He
Cthulhu,
killed
yeah.
us in like 5 seconds.
He's inside of an asteroid. He has a big eye.
Yeah, you can't leave, can you?
You
There's no
probably
way
could.
out.
You can kill him, I think.
Oh.
If you were good at the game.
I'd really like to play that game more and be good at it, but I don't know.
You could play it. I'd like to play it. It looks like they've updated it a little bit, honestly. I'm looking at these pictures.
The problem with it right now is there's just too many things I want to play. Like, the conversation was stemmed from should I buy Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? I'm like on the page right now about to buy it.
Halo.
I was gonna see what your guys' opinions are.
I mean, I haven't seen anything about that game other than the
92%
video,
positive reviews.
where Donkey literally is just like, this game is bad.
Which
But
game?
he says that about a lot of games now. Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm. He also hated Death Stranding. How dare he?
I mean, Death Stranding is also
How
a game that I know if
dare
I
he.
played, I really would not enjoy.
Oh, I probably wouldn't either. I just thought it was funny.
Wasn't it the big argument? It's like, it's not supposed to be fun. It's
It's
art.
the first Strand type game.
I don't know. It's like Star Wars and Dark Souls. Like two things I really like. I've watched some combat on it. It looks. I mean, it has 92% positive reviews. Granted, a lot of this may just be Star Wars fanboys, but I feel like I like this game. Anyway, I want to buy this, and then Jacob bought me Halo for my birthday, and Halo Reach is like probably the thing that, like, as far as video games go, is like one of the most nostalgic video games for me.
Oh, good.
Spent so much time in middle school playing that. High school. Probably not so much high school. Mostly middle school. That was like the birth of like me getting into online gaming on an Xbox.
I'm
It's like
so
kind of how I
excited for all
fell
the
into my
Halos to
friend
come
groups
out.
and all that stuff.
I never played
Stardew
Halo
Valley's new
multiplayer,
update.
It's good.
because I never had like Xbox Live or whatever.
Right now, it's just like the PvP game modes, but later on they'll add Forge and custom games, and that's where like the game shines.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that the only experience with Halo multiplayer I've had is at my high school. We had a copy of Halo Combat Evolved, like that would
I remember that story.
cycle through the school, and like everybody had it, and you could play LAN games of Halo CE, and that was so much fun.
I think we're turning into the Triforce podcast because I think you've told this story before on the podcast.
So
I don't know. I know you've
What about
definitely
the ghost
told me
ship
this story
next?
before. The ghost ship. It's such a funny bit. Oh, my dad bought me some game the other day.
well, speaking
tell you what
of
it is.
people buying people games, you got me a game from Japan.
I did.
You got me Metabot Duel
Metabots.
Kabuto version, which is an installment
Did
in a
you
franchise.
want the Kabuto version or did you want the other version? There's like that one and then there's one with a silver robot.
Yeah, so there's Kabuto and
Maybe-
Stag, and then Kabuto is Metabee and Stag is Rokusho. And
Which one do you like more?
I like, I like Metabee more because he's like an actual character and has personality. But in the game, like the game always has like two entrants to a given installment, just like Pokemon does. And
I called it a Visa, but this is a MasterCard. Sorry.
so normally Drew would get like the Metabee versions of the games, and I would get the Rokusho versions. But you know,
Ah, but now you got the Metabee version.
whoa, and Drew can't get the game at all.
It goes to Japan. Actually, you could probably buy it online.
But
But neither of you can play it unless you buy a DS.
yeah, exactly.
I was
It's
gonna
sit
buy
on
a
my
DS,
shelf
but
and
there
look
were no
pretty.
cheap DSs there. I was gonna buy. I was so mad. There was like every old thing. Oh, sorry, there were DSs there, but they weren't cheap. They were like $70.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to buy because they had like in the box, like the cardboard box that Game Boy games used to come in. They had a red version, like Pokemon Red.
Wow,
for
was it
$30?
Was it still wrapped?
Yes,
Like-
$30.
Like factory seal wrap.
I think so,
Oh,
but I don't know because it looks like they may just seal
Was it
this stuff.
Pokemon? Was it Pokemon Red or the Japanese Pocket Monsters Red?
I'll tell you because I have a picture of it.
Because if it was the U.S. Pokemon Red, that game still sealed in box is like several $100s.
When did we go there? Oh, here it is.
And you'll put the photo on the screen for the viewers to look at.
No, it's Pocket Monsters. It's the Japanese
Okay.
version.
Yeah, the Japanese version is it's still worth a lot, but it's not worth like as much as the US one is. Because the US one had a shorter
No, $20. I lied.
Yeah, the US one had a it's not that it had like a shorter print or whatever, but it had
I
a
think maybe the nature of the store, these are like resealed because this box looks a little damaged.
okay, yeah, if it's resealed that makes more sense.
But still, the game in the like original
Yeah, the
box
game
is
in the
still cool,
packaging
not
is still
just
really impressive.
for $20.
Yeah,
so
I
if
mean,
there was
if
like
you-
a
if
Game
you
Boy
wanted to
Color
buy
there for like
A copy of Pokemon Red in the US, you're spending probably like $40 to $50.
yeah. So if there was at least like a Game Boy Color there that worked, I would have probably bought both. Just for like nostalgia, I probably would have bought both and then bought Silver and Red, but
Pokemon Silver is probably my favorite out of all the
all the
Pokemon
stuff
games.
they had, they didn't have a Game Boy Color. They were so mad. What were we talking about? I just bought Star Wars.
What a man.
Capitalism in action.
My dad bought me something called TikTok, but spelled correctly, TICKTOCK,
Oh.
A Tale for Two, which is supposed to be this co-op escape game.
Is it
Interesting.
supposed to be
Oh,
like
Savio's played it previously. I don't know. It's $3, so
I was gonna ask if you knew if it was similar to if you don't stop talking and nobody explodes or whatever.
maybe
No,
in
it
that
doesn't
it's
look
like
it.
cooperative. It's like working together to escape, but not in that like I'm feeding him information. I think it's like we're both in the sort of like an escape room, but
Zachary
not
owns
really an
as
escape
well.
room. I should ask him if what they've thought about it. I guess maybe not because I own it now. Might as well just play it. Yeah.
You're like, it's absolute garbage. Oh, wait.
Tom, you want to do an escape room?
What like do I want to or would I?
Aren't they the same? Do you want to? And if we made plans to, would you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm mad because all my roommates did an escape room while I was in Japan.
It's not
And they
right.
know that's the one thing I love. And then Cammy did one too while I was gone.
Betrayed
Back
by
in the-
all your closest advisors.
I'll do
I
one with
know.
you.
So Jacob was talking.
Next
I was
episode
talking
of
to
the
Jacob about-
podcast, the boys do an escape room.
Live stream.
That would be a fun episode, actually. That would be a fun project to make.
Want to record it?
Yeah. That would be really neat. Yeah, I really want to do an escape room. I love escape rooms. I have 100% escape rate.
Wow.
Never lost to an escape room. And then I make fun of my roommates because holy cow, this game is 47 gigs. Okay, I'm not playing Jedi Fallen Order today. I guess I'm playing Stardew Valley after. I guess I could go play some Halo Reach.
I thought you were gonna watch Nancy Drew.
I don't think Cammy wants me to come over and watch Nancy Drew.
Mm.
What are you doing after Nancy Drew?
She wanted to get dinner, and then I was gonna head home and play Halo probably.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Is I want to play Halo.
Logan and Matt are playing right now.
Probably what I do after the podcast.
Hey, ask him if you can play Lunchman.
Huh?
He made a game mode called Lunchman. You should play it.
Oh.
It's awful.
I'm gonna have to build as soon as we get Forge. I'm gonna build bumper cars and we'll play that. Where it's just basically a big platform in the sky with like jumps in the middle, and we all ride mongoose and we try to knock each other up.
for Forge, man.
You don't sound it.
Forge. Forge is so good. I'm so excited. Oh,
I'm telling you, it's like that'll be like the cherry on top of it. The only thing I don't like is I don't like how they took away credits and armor. But I get that because of the nature of the master, it's not reach, it's reach in the master
Oh,
chief
the armor
collection.
and stuff?
So
Yeah.
it makes sense why. But I'm just saying that was one of my favorite parts about it.
I get you. I get you. Me too.
Was like leveling up and then choosing what to buy, and then you'd be playing the game mode of the week, and then sometimes it would give you a credit jackpot for 3,000.
This way, I think the way this is like gonna work is this way. If someone like, let's say that for some reason Halo CE doesn't have like a huge amount of players playing, you don't have to play Halo CE in order to unlock Halo CE armor. If that makes any sense, I think that's the logic behind this. Because that way,
That's
like,
fair.
yeah, you level up like playing any game and you level up the same progression system.
Well, when are they gonna? Have they said when they're gonna add any of the other Halos?
They
or-
said, okay, I don't know whether they're Halos, but I know Forge is supposed to come out before the end of the year, I think.
Dang, well, that's like soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, which I'm really hoping is true. I'll be very upset if it's not.
I've got some Stardew Valley to play.
I'm gonna go check. Actually, I'm gonna check the discussion page.
You should really enjoy Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley's fun. I heard I had a good update recently. Because you all were talking about last night, I think.
So that was,
I haven't
it's
ever
all-
actually like sat down and like played through enough of
Really?
Stardew Valley for it to like leave a lasting impression on me, other than, oh yeah, this is like Harvest Moon. Yeah, every time I play Stardew Valley, like I start playing it, and like when I come back to the game after like a long hiatus, I never want to like continue an old save, so I'll delete it and start a new one. And
I have only played on the same save. In fact, me playing this is I'm exploring the new content, but I have like 2 tasks. It's like just exploring and making my farm look nice, but then on the side I'm setting up things that's like the best money making method in the game. Where it's just getting like the really expensive fruit to grow in my greenhouse and then turning it into wine and then selling it for like 100K.
yeah, I'll like start playing Stardew Valley, and I'll play for like the entirety of spring, and then I'll stop. So I've only ever played through the first spring of Stardew Valley. And
Maybe when you get done
every
with your
time
classes.
people talk
Yeah.
about it, and Drew will come up and he'll play it over the weekend or whatever, and he's like, Stardew Valley's really cool, and I'm like, yeah, and then I, have never really played it. So Stardew Valley is a game that like I don't think I'll ever be able to bring myself to play by myself, because it feels too much to me like just like grinding random things. And I feel like for me personally, if I was going to sit down and like grind out a game, I would much rather be grinding in a game where it's more like rewarding to me as the player, like in an MMO.
Yeah. I would say I think I totally agree with where you're coming from in some regards, but like my opinion about it is like I loved the Harvest Moon games.
Yeah, and I really liked Harvest Moon, but
And I think that this is probably the best Harvest Moon-esque game to come out since Harvest Moon has hit a decline. However, I'm praying that when Rune Factory 5 comes out, it blows everything out of the water, because man, am I excited about Rune Factory 5. Rune Factory is probably one of my favorite of all of these games, because it blends that with like an actual like RPG-esque story with dungeon crawling. So you can farm and also be a blacksmith to make your weapons to go into the dungeons. like you
Stardew
said.
is also one of those games where I'll like start playing it, I guess, and then like I'll feel like I'm not doing everything like correctly. And
It's
then,
definitely one of those which for you, which I know from playing games with you, that you really like to do things like optimally. And Stardew presents a way too where you can be doing things optimally, and most of the time you can't be optimal your first year. You have to wait until your second year to be optimal because of things. So I get the frustration there, but I don't know. I think it's something that you should definitely, when you get a break. I was gonna say when you get a break from everything, we could do a multiplayer server, because I've not actually done a multiplayer one.
that's
and
that's
play
what
it,
that's what I was
you know.
getting ready to get to, is that Drew keeps telling me that he's really good at doing things optimally, and just having a second set of hands that generates any resource at all, whether it's like literally if all I'm doing is like getting up and watering the crops and being out of energy and doing nothing, like that's still useful.
Oh, and
Like-
incredibly.
Or like if all I do is like go to the mine and like mine all day, that's still useful.
Well,
So
Jacob, they were telling me when you guys played, you would assign tasks to everybody, right?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of just claimed like a thing, because that's what the thing is that like there's different players that like different things to do in the game. Like maybe you like fishing, maybe you like farming more. So we just all happen to like different things. So I would mine.
You were the farmer, right?
I was a miner. I liked mining.
Oh, you were the miner. Who was the
Yeah,
farmer?
I think Logan was. And
I
Matt
thought
was a
Logan was
fisher.
in charge of the. He told me Logan was in charge of the animals.
I mean, yeah, he was primarily. I think we all kind of farmed. It was kind of like a collected effort. He did do animals. Forgot about that.
But that's what I argued, is that you get to a point where animals are completely autonomous.
Well, he did. We did farming too. We would kind of all like go do our things. Like I'd go mine, Matt would go fish, and he would go do animals. And then at the end of the day, we'd all water the plants and harvest everything, and then go to sleep.
One of the things in this one that they recently added, where multiplayer and the new thing is, you can finally do multiplayer where you're not sharing resources. You don't share wallets.
I kind of like sharing it though, because we made lots of money.
Which because I was torn about, because I really wanted Cammy to get it, so we could have like a Stardew whatever, and that would be a cute coupley thing to do.
That would be.
But Cammy doesn't play video games.
Oof.
So
She does,
if you
not.
share a wallet, can you like give other people money?
No, you literally, like, what do you mean? You share, so like,
No, you
It's-
said,
it's like-
you said
so,
you
like-
finally don't share. So like
Yeah,
if
you
you
said-
don't share wallets anymore.
oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe you can give. I don't know if you can just give money.
Yeah, that's my question. Is like, can you literally like take the dollars out of your inventory and hand them to someone else?
It's brand new, and I've not played with it, so I don't know.
Also, this is kind of funny to me, and I was gonna mention it because you said Cammy to play video games, but like I know what you mean. She like plays like The Sims, and she doesn't like necessarily.
Well, no,
wanna
she
play,
doesn't
like-
play. Like, she doesn't play.
No, I know.
She likes video.
I know what you mean. I know what you meant. But it's really funny to me because recently I've discovered that so Jesse's like she has ADHD, right? So she really likes paying attention to like stuff like that. And so she likes playing Doom on my computer just whenever now, and it's really funny to me because I just watch her kill demons and she's like, yeah, and she actually hates The Sims for some reason because she thinks it's boring. And it's just I don't know, she's weird. I just thought it was
I mean,
funny.
each their own. That's why some people like things
That's
and
true.
some don't.
I just thought
But,
it was
like,
funny because like I feel like stereotypically like girls are like into like The Sims and not
I like The
necessarily
Sims.
FPS games. I love The Sims too. But my point is like I feel like it's stereotypical for women to not be into first person shooters as much. But
The
for
only
her,
Sims game,
that's what holds her attention.
the only Sims game I ever played was a game called My Sims on the Nintendo Wii.
Oh
where-
my gosh, I loved my Sims.
I remember that like the way you generate
The
resources.
game was
in
so
that game-
bad.
the way you generate resources is you would just like go out and like dig things up out of the dirt, and you could just like find like random like currency tokens in the dirt. So it's like in one section of the map the currency token is maybe like some honey, and in another section of the map maybe it's some stuffed animals. So you would go outside and you dig up some honey. You'd go outside and you dig up some stuffed animals.
Yeah, that game was something. Actually, I want to make some comments on some things, and then I have a conversation for us to wrap up with. That'll be fun. It'll be a fun conversation. What I was gonna mention is I see this on my thing. To the Moon 3 is coming out, so I need to tell Abby about that. I really like the first To the Moon, and it's one on that is I learned the song from that on piano for River. Fun tidbit fact about me. What were we talking about? With Sims. It's funny because I can really, really, really get like absorbed into Sims and would play for hours and hours and hours on end. But it's in bursts. Like I'll get on and I'll play for a lot for like 3 or 4 days, and then I'll quit for a while, or I'll play for like a week or two, and then I won't touch it again for a month or a while. But I like to, which you've seen, it's been in your Discord server both times, where I'll stream, like I'll share my screens with them while I'm playing, and we'll explore the canon of this character that I've created in the world. Like the first one was Mario Bertolini, and then just recently it was Tobias and someone else, and he was like, one's a wizard and one's a vampire, and they're gonna solve crimes together. And I just create these characters and then like live out their lives and make comments on it, and it's this shared experience that I really enjoy. And like I like creating these characters and then letting their story sort of unfold with like little nudges in the right direction for me. And Cammy is like, how Cammy plays is like completely different, and that sometimes she likes to make characters that are copies of something, or like
People.
make a character that she has created or is from some other media in the game, and create these households of these characters.
She'll
And
make
like
you
she
and me,
likes
and
the
she'll make us
creation
kiss.
process. Yeah. And she likes to, she downloads the mods to where she can like do the customization better and make the house look better. And like for me, the house is functional. The house does not have to look nice. Like I'll put a fish tank in the middle of the kitchen because I want fish in the kitchen. Like I'm very like quick and like it's you know I don't really care about how things look. It's just like I'm like, ooh, I want fish. We're putting the fish down here. And it's funny that like we both actually really 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 like The Sims, but for completely different reasons, and would probably hate it if we had to play like in the other one's style. And I think that's cool. It's not necessarily like that in in some games, but not necessarily. It's an experience that I think in its own regard is unique to The Sims. I was also gonna say a lot. You should see if Jesse would like something like that requires a lot of attention to like management.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that.
Like
but
a Factorio.
Yeah, I think something about I was going to try that, but I also think something about the high octane energy of Doom is what's attracting me to it.
You've not known high octane energy until you drive a car that you make into an alien hive blasting a flamethrower. Trust me. You gotta pick up all those alien artifacts to make purple science.
I never got to purple science. Jacob quit playing Factorio with me.
It's better just to keep restarting the game and only using red and green and then stopping and restarting again over and over.
I love Factorio because I only play with people who are good at or who have played the game before. So I'll set up like, and it will take all of my brain power to set up like one line of something that's producing. Like I remember in our first playthrough, it was like car engines. Yeah. It took me hours to set up this what I thought was optimal of like, and I didn't want to touch any of your stuff, so I had to like build my like starting from scratch, like mining the coal myself and like basically not even playing with you, but my whole end goal was to set up something that would make car engines, and then I would funnel them into your I would be like, hey look, I'm done, and you'd be like, okay, and then you're like, cool, I need these, and then you would just funnel them into your like mess of tracks and yeah, the whole system, and then the car parts would start making things that we needed together. But other than that, I did not understand hardly anything.
It's honestly a fun game. It's just
I love it. I think it's
there comes a point
fun.
where I personally just like don't know what else to do. It just becomes so complicated.
Yeah, after you get to like a certain point, you have to stop thinking of like everything as like these individual pieces and start thinking of like a combination of them as like a unit that you use to create a more advanced step that you use to. It's all about like the macro of manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I would really like to beat it one day.
It just becomes like a point where like you have to go back and change everything to make it the way you need it now, and that just frustrates me. Or for me anyway, personally. Because like there'll be something I'm like, I should have done it this way because there's not enough room over here to do this. And so then I'm like, fuck. Bleep.
But yeah.
I like the Factorio speedruns. They're like 2 to 3 hours long, and it's literally just like it's like the most unfiltered efficiency you would ever find in a video game is like the Factorio speedrun. Because it's literally just somebody who's sitting down and not making any mistakes for like 2 hours. It's just like this is what the efficiency
that all
of
speedruns?
was. Well, I mean, yeah, but it makes more sense for like Factorio. I'm not trying to like say that speedruns aren't efficient or whatever, but I'm saying that like the Factorio speedrun requires so much pre-planning. And like the actual like math of what goes into what to actually build the rocket is very like
it's very precise, and for someone like you who likes being power gamey and efficient, it's like your art.
Yeah.
Stemming back to the original of us talking about Japan and how video games are like mathematics and art and all that stuff, and like there is beauty in it. Like if we showed someone a complete Factorio map or something. What were we playing before Factorio where it was like about efficiency or something, and it made me want to download Factorio?
Was it Minecraft?
Oh, it may have been. It may have been when we were playing that modded Minecraft.
Yeah, I think we were playing modded Minecraft.
And then I joked about how I never played Factorio, and then Jacob was like, let's buy Factorio. Let's buy. You owned Factorio, so you were like, I'll play Factorio with you, so I bought Factorio.
This is kind of stupid, but I'm still thinking about Halo Forge.
You
Also,
really want
apparently,
it. It's fine.
apparently it's not coming out until sometime in 2020 now. That's what they're saying.
Uh-oh.
Oof.
Maybe it was always that way and you just didn't
I
know.
think it probably was. It said this year, but it's possible he meant like within a year, not necessarily this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Factorio's cool. What I was gonna say, like, if you showed someone who does not play video games like a completed Factorio map and like all the systems and all that stuff, and it would just look like a really ugly picture to them. But for someone like us who's played, and I have not played a lot, but I understand enough, like that'd be really, really cool. Anywho, what I wanted to talk about to close the game, it was spurred in my head when you were talking about playing My Sims. What is, in your humble opinion, one of the worst games you have ever played? That, and I'm not saying like some $2 piece of junk game. Like,
Yeah,
what
like
is
a
like
good
a
game
big
that's,
like
like an expensive
you
game,
paid
so-
full price for this game, and it was bad.
I'm gonna say something, but you're gonna hate me for saying it because it's a game I think you would say was bad, but they did a good job. It might be No Man's Sky. For the price tag, and then what I got is like a game that's kind of really grindy and not very. It's just not very fun to play sometimes, and so I kind of consider that kind of a bad game, a game that I don't enjoy playing whatsoever most of the time. Like I
Well,
don't know.
you also paid about twice as much as I did.
That's true. That's true. I also paid
And
more.
you
So for
played
me,
it at the beginning.
yeah.
I paid like $30 for No Man's Sky Beyond.
That's true. That's true. And the thing, I didn't play from the. I didn't
So-
play from the very beginning. I played
Oh.
from the like the first update where they're like, "Oh, we fixed it finally." That was the first time I played it, and it was pretty
Oh.
boring. And then even Beyond, it's not much different. I didn't buy it like right off the bat. I think I bought it for like maybe $40. I don't know.
I'm not like super like whatever
But for that
for
price tag,
No
it's
Man's
not
Sky
worth it.
because I've not played it that much since. That little spur, it's like I have like a weird aesthetic I like in video games, which is why I like Pulsar and why I like. And it probably stems from like how much Star Wars I
Pulsar
consumed
is
as a
honestly
child.
way better than No Man's Sky.
Imagine a blend of the two, where like if you had like some of the stuff that you had in
Yeah,
No
the thing
Man's
is
Sky.
that the only
and-
thing that No Man's Sky has that I think Pulsar would need is the graphics. Because legitimately,
the
Pulsar
planet-
is a great game on its own.
The thing is we've not got to play enough Pulsar for me
I
to have
played
like.
a decent amount of Pulsar, and
I know you guys were playing, and then I bought it, and then I quit playing.
I'm
Then you
sorry,
quit
I'm
playing.
sorry.
That's why we actually played the other night. Is because I was like, remember when you guys made me buy Pulsar, and then we
Pulsar is
never
good,
played
man.
again.
It's fun. Like I would love to play it again.
That's what they said, and that's why we played that
I
one
have
night.
13 hours
Anywho.
on it. It's fun, and it's not as expensive as No Man's Sky. And so I would have to say that No Man's Sky is kind of a bad game.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine with that, and you're not like it's not one of my all time. It's not like you're saying like Destiny. Or, like,
I can't think of
Halo
another
or
game honestly that
Pokemon.
I like dislike as much because it's one of
Oh,
the-
I remember it now. Because we were talking about we were talking about My Sims, and I was thinking about DS games because I had My Sims on the DS, and then I remember the Spore game that you played. Sorry, I want to rechange the topic from bad games that you liked, and it's the Spore game on the DS. That
Spore
game
Heroes or
is
whatever.
awful. It's like an abomination compared to
Never played
Spore.
Spore on the
But I
DS.
loved that game because I didn't have a PC as a kid that could run Spore.
Spore is great on the PC.
So I played Spore Heroes on the DS, and oh my gosh, is that game bad. And oh my gosh, did I love it. You know what I'm also angry about? They've made so many no, it's not Spore Heroes.
Spore Creatures,
yeah.
maybe.
Maybe. You know what I'm mad about? They've made so many more Dragon
You
Quest
know what? I might
Monster
have the Spore
Jokers.
game on my shelf over here. I'm coming over here and looking through my DS games.
It's Spore Creatures, yeah.
Alright.
It's this abomination. If you look this up, it's just awful.
Post a
Anywho,
picture of it on the podcast.
okay. They made like 2 more Dragon Quest Monster Joker games in Japan. Those games were awesome,
And we didn't get a single one of them.
and we didn't. I thought that stuff quit happening.
No, there's still a lot of like region exclusives.
It was mostly like anime titty games. I noticed there were a lot of anime titty games in Japan on like the DS and the Switch and stuff. But no, I'm so mad that we like the West just doesn't know a good game when they get one.
Those dang Americans don't know a good video game.
They just recently got signed up for Monster Hunter and they had to take it in some newfangled hyper realistic version.
I'm sorry to do this in the middle of the podcast, but Alexa, Turn on the lights. It was just way too
Alexa,
dark.
play
play-
Minecraft on my mind.
It was way too dark in here. I'm sorry. Continue.
Alexa, play Diamond Ore.
I can't hear you.
What's the one?
Alexa,
This
play All I
is-
Want
no,
from
Diamond Sword.
Minecraft is Lapis.
This is Diamond Sword of Major Steve. You're gonna find diamonds.
I told Logan you wanted to play Lunch Man.
Uh-oh, I don't. Anyways, this game was awful, but I played it until completion, and you uncovered some old arcade memories. And what was that one game where you had to like Spectrobes? Is it
Spectrobes.
Spectrobes, that's what it was.
I think I actually remember that one. Wait.
It's the one where you had to dig up the fossils
Yes,
and there
I
were these
love
weird
this
alien
game.
monsters.
There was also Fossil Fighters, which was a very similar
I
game.
love Fossil Fighter.
I don't know if Fossil Fighters, but Spectrobes was bomb, low key. It
Spectrobes was kind of kick-ass.
was kind of kick ass. We need a Spectrobes too.
You didn't say a game, Tom.
Oh, for which category? Because you changed it.
Both if you want.
Okay. A game that was like high production that I didn't like was Artifact, Valve's card game.
Mhm.
That's because I really like card games. I played a lot of Hearthstone and I play a lot of Magic. Artifact just was not good. Was not a good game. All the systems in that game kind of suck. A game that is kind of bad that I really like is, I guess people think MapleStory is bad. I really like that game.
I love MapleStory. Or what's one that's like it's a super unpopular game that is, so let me better phrase it instead of bad. So what's a game that like you bought thinking that it was supposed to be good, high dollar, high value, whatever,
Ooh,
and you just personally hated it?
my answer would probably
And
change.
what is one that you bought that something that's like really near and dear to your heart that you could say to someone who's an avid gamer and they just won't know? Sport Creatures probably is not as near and dear to my heart as Mysterious Quest Magician's Time, which is frustrating because I know that Tom would like die for this game if he ever played it. But it's just so horribly unpopular in the States. It was popular enough in Japan to get a remake on the 3DS, or a second game on the 3DS, which frustrates me. But it's Animal Crossing, but you're a witch or wizard in wizard school, and you would go into Mystery Time, and then when you would leave Mystery Time, like it would change the world completely, and like all the fish and the bugs, and the sky would be all weird, and like magic would be running amok. And then when you would leave Mystery Time, some cryptid or mythological creature would come back with you, and you would have to solve its like, you would have like a week to solve its problems. And it would involve like talking to people or fighting or learning new spells or bringing in items or whatever you have to do. But it would range from like dragon to ghost to Makole Membe to like during Christmas it could be Krampus, and like it was such a cool game. It was like I love the game. It was so good. And nobody knows what that game is.
Ooh,
Or I guess Kirby Air Ride too.
I have a game that was supposed to be good that was bad.
What is it?
Mass Effect 3. I was so disappointed in Mass Effect 3, and I'm just remembering that. I've been going through all my
I never
games
played
trying
Mass
to play
Effect 3.
So
I've heard that it was good, but the ending was
the
bad.
ending sucked.
And then I heard that Andromeda was just all
Andromeda
bad.
was awful. I never played it though, so I can't really talk about that. But but the thing is that I loved 2 and I love Mass Effect 1. They're both really great games, like super great games. The issue with that is that they're so good that just the fact that Mass Effect 3 was like an okay game and had a terrible ending, like was awful. It was so bad, and it just destroyed. Like I don't know, man. It's like when a game series you really love is kind of messed with. It just really hurts.
Like Halo 4.
Like Halo 4 and 5, which I haven't played, but I heard is pretty bad, and that makes me sad.
See, those are like the general consensus is those games are bad.
Yeah.
Which yours is not for Mass Effect 3. I thought that people said Mass Effect 3 was good, but the ending was bad. I'm trying to think of a game that
Well,
like
Mass Effect
I
3 is
hate
okay.
that people
The
love.
2 is much better.
I've never played a Mass Effect game.
The 2 is so good. I recommend it so much, dude.
2 is very good. I
2 is
love
such
2.
a good game. Jesus.
I almost cried during the ending of 2 because I lost. Who's the sniper? His name starts with a G. Garrus.
Garrus?
Garrus. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
Garrus
I
is
lost
like an
Garrus,
OG.
and Garrus is the only one I lost. I was so mad. What's a game that was really good that I don't like? I don't know. Tom, do you have anything?
Games that were really good that I didn't like. A majority of like shooter games, just because it's just a genre that I don't enjoy. Like, I like Halo because I have memories of playing Halo on the Xbox as a kid, even though I didn't play Halo multiplayer. But like, you know, I feel like that's an easy answer, that I don't like AAA shooters or whatever. Games that
Can you think of a time where you like bought something and you were like, I'm so excited, I got this, and you get home and you play it and you're like, I hate this game.
For Honor was kind of like that for me.
I
think it's a good game, but I just don't enjoy it personally.
I mean, I don't know if it counts, but the PC
Actually,
release of
really hard
Castle
time.
Crashers, I guess.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Because
Even
like
the
you play
Switch
Castle
version.
Crashers as a kid, and that game's kick ass on the
Yes,
Xbox and everything.
Yeah.
On the PC, not only was the Steam release incredibly buggy, but it just seems like to a me that was older than the me that played Castle Crashers, the game just was not as, I guess, like rambunctious as I remember it being.
I feel that. Well, I'll say this. I think it was the same game I remember it being, but the Switch version is like messed up, and like you can't play like
We
local
talked about this before.
co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your friends can't play.
Yeah,
on their
that's
own
what I was going to say about the Steam release, is that if you ever attempted to play the multiplayer version of Castle Crashers over Steam, I don't know if it's still like this, because I legitimately have not tried to come back to that game since I first downloaded it and it was broken. If you had tried to play the multiplayer version of that game when it released, the game was so laggy that no matter how good your computer was, you got like 3 FPS. It was so bad. And I just...
The thing is that multiplayer is so important for Castle Crashers.
Yeah, exactly. So I like stopped. Yeah, so I just never finished I never finished Castle Crashers on Steam.
Yes, in recent on PC, because I'm just looking through my Steam list because I can't think of anything on Xbox. I played Risk of Rain with everybody, but I did not play Risk of Rain past when everybody quit playing it together as a group.
Wait, Risk of Rain or Risk of Rain 2?
No, sorry, Risk of Rain 2. Never played the first one.
I still occasionally
Total War
play
Warhammer
Risk of Rain
2 was a game that I bought
I like
on
Risk
my
of Rain 2.
own, and was like, I'm so excited for Total War Warhammer. Like, this is the coolest looking game ever. It's gonna be so much fun. I played like one campaign, and then I have not touched the game since.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? I don't like it.
I don't play it with you. Because I feel like I should play it with you.
I mean, it's fine. I feel like Logan would probably be more offended by that statement than
I will say, though...
he has 110 hours in this game.
Just to bring it around again, a game that I bought, like, when I first got a computer that I absolutely adore and have poured hours upon hours upon hours into and repeatedly come back to constantly, it's Terraria.
I want to play Terraria again.
That's another game that I don't really like that much. Mini Kit Kats, sorry.
You don't
I
like
want to play
Terraria?
Starbound, and I want to play
No, I really
modded
don't.
Terraria.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you like Terraria?
I prefer
Uh-oh.
Starbound.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. It just never was managed to like keep my attention.
But why
I
did
think
Starbound
if
keep your
Starbound was more
I
like
couldn't tell you.
Terraria,
They might
it would
my
be the
friends, to
perfect
honest with you,
game.
Tom.
You
It
know,
might be the people I played it
that
with.
could be the thing.
It's possible.
I didn't like Terraria. I bought Terraria forever ago, never played it, and then Tom made me sit down and play it, and I almost have all the achievements in the game.
Yeah, I have 84 out of 88 achievements in the game, and the 4 achievements that I'm missing are...
I don't have the one for making a molten pickaxe because when we played, you made it for me.
Most of the achievements that I'm missing are like the fishing achievements that are just like for doing the quests for the angler, because if you don't know, the best way to like progress through Terraria, like on a very technical like power gamey level, is you just fish. You fish and you fish and you fish and you fish and you fish non-stop until you have like so many crates that you like all your chests are full. And then you beat easy mode and by defeating the wall of flesh. And then the fastest way to beat hard mode is to open all of your crates, because after you go into hard mode, the crates can give you the end game ore. So you can just crack open all your crates, instantly have all the material you need to like craft all the items you want in hard mode, and then you just boss rush hard mode, and that's the fastest way to do it. So a lot of my achievements that the only 4 achievements I don't have for Terraria are the 4 achievements that want you to fish for the angler. Because
I'm actually kind of close to those because I have like 19 out of the. You need 50 for the last one, and then 25 for the.
I also think.
Oh wait, no, you need 200 for the last
Yeah.
one. Sorry.
I'm not a huge fan of like the whole 2D, like the 2D aspect of both games, but I think the setting of Starbound kept me more more interested.
See, I like the aesthetic and like you said, the setting of Starbound more. I just think gameplay wise, there's more like the boss
There
fighting in
probably is more to do
Terraria
in
and the stuff like
Terraria.
that. It's more enjoyable.
I'm almost in the same
Starbound
boat.
always has felt like an empty game, like a really cool world, but like empty.
I
I
will
didn't
say that
get
part
that
of my
before.
skew against Starbound is also the fact that I bought Starbound when it released when I was a sophomore in high school. The game was empty then. There's nothing in that game. It
I
was
played it like much later.
It was literally like you could beam between your ship and the one planet you spawn on, and nothing else. There wasn't an
Oh,
intro.
Yeah, what
there
about
wasn't
that?
anything
What about that
else.
video I sent
You
you?
couldn't upgrade your matter manipulator. There was nothing.
I played towards the after they updated it a lot, and they had much more stuff.
And
What
I've
about
got,
the
I've
video
got
I
a
sent
lot
you,
of playtime
Tom?
in Starbound. I have
The-
almost 200 hours in Starbound, and the game
my
is
gosh.
definitely a lot better than it was when it launched. But I think that's part of what contributes to my I like Terraria more
Yeah,
than
I get you.
Starbound fiasco. Is that when I bought Terraria when it released, and my first ever screenshot on Steam is a picture of me on top of my base in Terraria because I like Terraria a lot more because it launched with content.
That's fair.
And I've played through every iteration of Starbound that they've patched through. That's why I have 180 hours in the game. And like Starbound is good and it's fun, but for me it's like Terraria is what I want Starbound to be, which is why I have
I
more
have not
playtime in
played
Terraria.
The new things in Starbound. I saw the Bounty Hunter update and freaked out and was like, "This looks so cool!" And everybody was like, "That came out in the summer," and I was like, "Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought this was new."
Nah, it's really fun.
I would like to play another run through of both games modded though.
Oh,
Uh,
I've played through every mod imaginable in Terraria. I've played through Calamity. I've played through whatever that other one is called, Thorium. And then I haven't done any Starbound mods. So I would actually be really
Remember
up
the
for,
video I sent you?
Yeah, I know.
That
That's what I was
video's
getting
so
ready to say. I would
good.
be really up to play like modded Starbound.
It's pretty good if I remember correctly. Like I think we had mods for ours.
Let's set it up. Christmas break, doing a modded Starbound server. I think the only problem I have with the modded server or the multiplayer in both these games is you don't have dedicated servers, right? You just have
Yeah, someone has to host.
Yeah,
and
you have
host,
peer-to-peer
so
host.
That's pretty normal, so I'm not like upset.
that's just like compared to Minecraft.
That's just where the
prefer
cookie
that.
crumbles.
But speaking of Minecraft, Savio says he's gonna be able to have a fully dedicated Minecraft server running soon because he's got a server PC.
Oh man, tell him to put a Pixelmon.
It's honestly he probably would if you asked him to.
Pixelmon is actually okay. So
I love that. More so, I think I played it more than you when Savio had that server.
You
I
did,
was up till
but-
like 5 a.m. every single night.
Pixelmon is okay.
It's fun, but I
Hot
got bored of it
take.
personally.
Pixelmon is one of the best Pokemon games ever released. Period.
And it has the national dex.
Yeah. So
Doesn't have the new Pokemon.
I think Pixelmon has a more dedicated team behind it who are more passionate about Pokemon and more enthused about Pokemon content than any team at Game Freak could be.
That's possible. That's true. I mean, they are fans.
Despite how much we argue about Pokemon, I'll agree with you there.
Like, Pixelmon, yeah, it's a little rough around the edges because it's in Minecraft and is a Minecraft mod. But honestly, Pixelmon gives you so much more freedom than any conventional Pokemon game could ever imagine giving a player. And, while I think a lot of the, like, fraying with Pixelmon comes from the fact that people are not accustomed to, like, that style of Pokemon gameplay.
Oh fuck. Sorry.
I think the like bedrock of Pixelmon is a system that's more rewarding than any other Pokemon system there is because it gives you so much control over what you're
I
doing.
kind of agree. Actually, I did enjoy Pixelmon a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say, I think if we could ever get that server set up, like how we wanted it to. Remember when you and I were building it when you were hosting it?
Yeah, and I had like
How
a
we built the
couple
spawn
mods.
area and we built the we would go into creative and we built the whole like spawn area with all the like basic stuff, and like then we had people in the world doing their own thing. If we could do that and like blend it where like we made it to where like people in the server were like gym leaders and then elite four, like we had enough people to do that
Yeah,
with
that's
like
that's the
a
biggest
thriving
problem with
server.
that is you just need more people that are interested.
Yeah, that's just the people. But if we had enough people to do that, I think I would never need another game ever.
Might be
Oh
able to-
yeah,
That's
if
obviously
we had
too big
enough
of a
people,
statement,
and
but-
like I run Pokemon Club at the UK, and if I ever could like pitch it to them, like this is really cool, and like if they all owned Minecraft and wanted to play or whatever,
They probably
that would
do.
be so cool to have like a University of Kentucky Pokemon League, like in Minecraft. That would be cool as fuck. That would be so fucking cool. Holy shit! But
I enjoy your enthusiasm.
I love Pokemon.
We
No, I
tried
mean-
it. We set it up to where it was like a spawn area, and
I think you could even do it with like if you get like a mod for like kind of like NPCs, you might be able to do something. If you couldn't get people, that is. But
Well, yeah, you can set NPCs to be gym leaders or whatever, but that's not as
no,
cool.
but that's not the.
it's not as cool. But I'm just saying, like you could do that.
Yeah, but the point is that 8 is already is such a good game, and so many like good things that you can do in it. If you could blend that, and it has the potential in itself for you to build a community in it. If we had that and we're like managing that, that would be like all I ever indulged like my free time into, was like maintaining that and playing in that. And
Well, I mean, again, I'm gonna say, give another like fan-made Pokemon community are MMOs like Poke MMO, and there are like 3 others that I've looked at. Those are all, I think, really cool, and they're really good at highlighting some of the more intricate like number systems in Pokemon.
yeah, I played a lot of Poke MMO.
I consume a lot of Pokemon content in general.
I don't like the legendary system in Poke MMO, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't want to like highlight anything as like the definitive, this is what a Pokemon like game should be or whatever, but a
They're
lot
too
of
different.
them have interesting systems that I think are like really cool to explore.
Anywho, maybe once Savio gets the dedicated server set up, we could have a talk louder Pokemon server. Hey, the podcast ever blows up, we might. Alrighty, well, I think that's enough for this week.
It's a good episode. I think the end
is
of our
good to be-
episode was much more. had much more content. Like it was a slow start.
Yeah,
It ended up pretty good, I think.
that's per usual. We got a lot of people who want to be guests, so
Yeah.
we're gonna hit it hard. I need to finally start doing stuff with pod. I don't know. Not talk for this. Talk for other things. Anywho, that's all we got for this week. We're glad to be back and able to do this. I'm back from Japan, and we're about to be on the end of everything, so we'll have Christmas break to where we shouldn't have any problems recording.
Ooh.
We should do something over Christmas break.
We can do plenty of things over Christmas break.
I mean, like, I don't know.
Oh, like for the podcast? should live stream it.
I've got some ideas. I'll pitch them later. Nothing for this
Live stream a
episode.
Christmas podcast. We could have like a set where we have like a tree.
Well, we could do the Jingle Jam.
Jingle Jam. I haven't watched any of Jingle Jam this year.
I haven't either. I'm done with the Yogscast. No, I actually feel bad. I don't watch them anymore. Anyway, that's not the point. We're closing the podcast. We're not talking about the Yogscast. Anywho, like we said, that's all for this week. An hour and 20 minutes. That's a good time. Yeah, maybe a guest next week. Maybe not, but we'll be here. So we'll see you all then. Bye-bye.